What if I told you that everything you've been taught about judging someone's character is wrong? That the traits you've spent years focusing on, kindness, charm, generosity, are nothing more than distractions? Niccolo Machiavelli, the legendary philosopher and political strategist, saw right through this. He understood human nature like few others, and his insights into power and character have shaped history for centuries. But here's the real question. How do you actually judge someone's character? If you rely on superficial traits, you're being played. In fact, most men spend their entire lives blind to the simple, yet profound signs that reveal who someone truly is. And that's exactly what Machiavelli warned us about, because character isn't about what people show you. It's about what they do when the stakes are high. By the end of this video, you'll learn the 2 key traits that give you a foolproof way to see someone's true nature, traits that reveal who is worthy of your trust and who's simply hiding behind the mask. These are the traits you've never been taught to look for, but by the time we're done, you'll see the world and the people around you through a completely new lens. Stick around, because these 2 insights might just change everything you thought you knew about human nature. Most people think they know how to judge someone's character. It's almost second nature. We've been taught to look for kindness, charm, generosity, or even selflessness. If someone is nice to you, gives you compliments, or seems to have your best interests at heart, it's easy to assume they're a good person, right? But here's the truth. That's the myth. These surface-level traits are often just a mask, a carefully constructed facade designed to hide what's really lurking underneath. It's easy to be fooled by someone's outward behavior, especially when they know exactly how to play the part. Machiavelli saw through this. In The Prince, he argued that appearances can be deceiving, and that a person's true character is not defined by how they act when everything is smooth. He believed that real character is revealed in how people act in moments of power, conflict, or adversity. When they believe there are no consequences for their actions, that's when the truth comes out. Think about it. When things go wrong, when someone is backed into a corner, that's when their true nature rises to the surface. Not when they're trying to impress you at a party or show off their latest act of kindness. Machiavelli understood that human nature is far more complicated than just the ability to smile and be polite. So, while most people judge character based on a handful of shallow traits, Machiavelli offered a deeper, more reliable method. But how exactly do you judge someone when the smoke and mirrors fall away? That's exactly what we'll uncover next. Machiavelli's understanding of human nature didn't come from watching people in the comfort of their day-to-day lives. He wasn't fooled by polite gestures or superficial charm. No, what he focused on, what he believed, revealed a person's true character, was something far more fundamental: power. Machiavelli was a man obsessed with the dynamics of power, the way it shapes behavior, and more importantly, how it reveals the inner workings of a person's soul. For him, character wasn't about how someone behaved when things were easy, when everything was calm. It wasn't about how many favors they did, or how often they smiled. Character, according to Machiavelli, was tested when the stakes were high, when power, fear, or survival was on the line. In these critical moments, 2 things mattered more than anything else: how a person handles adversity, and how they wield power. Let's break this down. First, adversity. When a person is faced with challenges, when their reputation, status, or even safety is threatened, do they crumble, or do they rise to the occasion? A man's true nature is revealed when he's in crisis. Does he show resilience, or does he fold under pressure? Then, there's power, the ability to influence, control, or manipulate. How someone uses their power, whether they rule with compassion or cruelty, fairness or manipulation, speaks volumes about their character. Are they a leader who lifts others, or do they seek control for the sake of their own gain? This is where the difference between appearance and reality lies. The public face, those acts of kindness or charm, are nothing compared to what happens when someone is tested by adversity or given power over others. These moments expose a person's true values, intentions, and abilities. So, what does this mean for you? How can you apply Machiavelli's insights in real life to really see who people are, beyond the facades? In the next section, We'll dive into exactly how you can spot these traits in action. Now we're getting to the heart of Machiavelli's genius, the hidden truths about human nature that most people completely miss. According to Machiavelli, character isn't revealed when someone is playing to the crowd, or when they're in the safety of their own image. Character is revealed in the moments when someone believes they can get away with anything, and when they hold power over others. Here's the kicker. In these critical moments, two key traits come to the surface, and they can tell you everything you need to know about a person's true character. First, how someone responds to fear and stress. When a person is cornered, under pressure, or in danger of losing everything, their instinctive reactions often expose their true nature. It's easy to act noble when the stakes are low, when no one is watching. But when fear enters the equation, when their livelihood, reputation, or status is on the line, that's when the mask falls away. Take, for example, the infamous historical case of Julius Caesar. When he was in the heat of battle, surrounded by enemies, he didn't fold under pressure. In fact, he rose to the occasion, showing courage, resilience, and decisiveness when others might have crumbled. His response to fear was not to panic, but to exert control over the situation. This is the first revealing trait, how someone handles stress, risk, and the potential for failure. Then, there's the second key trait, how they manipulate others to their advantage. This is where Machiavelli's true brilliance comes through. He understood that people with power, whether it's in a relationship, a business deal, or any other form of influence, are not always straightforward. Instead, they often play subtle games, using manipulation, control, or deceit to further their own agenda. And make no mistake, we're all capable of manipulation. It's a natural part of human nature. But the truly dangerous individuals are those who do it without remorse, who twist the facts to suit their needs, or who use others as mere pawns in their game. Look at someone like Frank Underwood, the ruthless political mastermind from House of Cards. He thrives in the manipulation of others, playing one person off another to climb the political ladder. He knows how to use people's weaknesses against them, and he knows when to strike. In a different realm, this trait shows up in personal relationships too. Have you ever been with someone who plays on your emotions, who twists situations to make you doubt yourself, or who uses guilt as a tool of control? That's manipulation at its finest, and it's a red flag for a person's true character. In everyday life, these traits are often subtle but crucial. Whether it's a colleague who shifts blame onto others to protect their own interests, or a partner who exerts control through emotional manipulation, these behaviors are the telltale signs Machiavelli was talking about. When someone feels like they're in a position of power, they'll show you who they really are. They will either rise to the occasion with integrity, or they will use their power to exploit, dominate, or deceive. Now that you know what to look for, how do you use this information to your advantage? How do you apply these insights in your own life to avoid falling prey to manipulation and false appearances? In the next section, we'll break down exactly how you can spot these traits in real-life situations, so you never get blindsided again. Machiavelli's insights into human nature and power aren't confined to the past. They are just as relevant today as they were in Renaissance Italy. In fact, the two traits he emphasized, how someone handles adversity and how they wield power, are still visible in the highest echelons of society and in our everyday lives. By understanding these traits, you can gain a huge advantage in knowing who you can trust and who you need to keep at arm's length. Take the business world, for example. Think about figures like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. Both men rose to the top by navigating adversity, whether it was the near bankruptcy of Tesla or the early struggles of Amazon. When faced with massive risks, financial, personal, and professional, they didn't fold. Instead, they doubled down, demonstrated resilience, and showed how true leaders handle pressure. But notice something else. These men didn't just handle adversity, they understood power dynamics. Musk, with his out-of-the-box thinking, has disrupted entire industries, while Bezos has created a global empire by using his position of control to influence markets and consumer behavior. Both men are masters of manipulation, whether it's Musk's ability to dominate the media with a single tweet, or Bezos' strategic decisions that ensure Amazon's dominance in nearly every sector. Then there's politics. Consider the way politicians like Vladimir Putin or even Barack Obama have navigated their respective careers. Putin, a man who has held a near absolute grip on power for years, has shown time and time again that he thrives under pressure. His ability to manipulate international relations, his ruthless handling of threats to his power, these are Machiavellian traits in full display. Obama, on the other hand, demonstrated a more subtle use of power. He mastered the art of perception, of shaping public opinion and creating an image of strength, even in times of crisis. But it's not just business leaders or politicians. These traits show up in personal relationships too. Have you ever encountered someone who, in a moment of stress, revealed their true nature? Perhaps a friend or a partner who, when things went wrong, turned manipulative or power-hungry. Machiavelli's wisdom helps us see these moments more clearly. In a relationship, when someone is constantly testing boundaries or controlling situations to their advantage, that's a red flag for manipulation. The point is, Machiavelli's principles are alive and well in modern life. Whether it's in the boardroom, the political sphere, or even in your personal life. Understanding these two traits, how someone handles adversity and how they use power, can be the difference between success and failure. So, the next time you interact with someone, start asking yourself, how do they act when things aren't going their way? How do they use their position in a relationship or a situation? These are the real indicators of character. Now that you've seen how these traits play out in the modern world, what are you going to do with this knowledge? How will you apply it to the people in your life and the decisions you make about who to trust? The answers may be more obvious than you think. It's easy to get trapped. Most men fall into these psychological pitfalls without even realizing it, blinded by someone's charm, kindness, or smooth words, thinking that's all it takes to judge their character. The truth is, these superficial traits are often the perfect disguise for manipulation. And when you don't see through the mask, the consequences can be devastating emotionally, financially, and socially. Let's start with one of the most dangerous traps, being blinded by charm. Think back to a time when you met someone who was magnetic, someone who made you feel important, who was funny, smooth, and charismatic. Maybe it was a new friend, a business partner, or even a romantic interest. At first, everything seemed perfect. They were kind, generous, always there for you. But what happened when things went wrong? How did they react when they had something to gain from the situation? If their true nature didn't align with that initial charm, if they turned manipulative, controlling, or self-serving, you've just experienced Machiavelli's warning in real time. One of the most vivid examples of this in recent history is the story of Elizabeth Holmes, the founder of Tyrannos. She charmed Silicon Valley, convincing investors, employees, and the public that her blood testing technology would revolutionize healthcare. Her charm and vision masked a web of lies and manipulation. People saw her as a brilliant entrepreneur, but in reality, she was willing to sacrifice others' trust and well-being to keep her empire afloat. The consequences? Betrayal, loss of reputation, and financial ruin for hundreds of investors, employees, and consumers. Another trap is mistaking kindness for genuine character. A person might be outwardly generous, always giving compliments, lending a hand, or doing favors, but kindness doesn't always equal integrity. These are the people who use their good deeds as a form of control. They make you feel indebted to them, so they can later manipulate you into doing something you wouldn't otherwise agree to. You end up investing your time and energy into someone who may not even deserve it, leaving you drained and betrayed when the mask inevitably slips. And then there's the trap of not recognizing manipulation. We've all been there, caught up in a relationship or business deal where we didn't see the signs of control. Whether it's emotional manipulation in a personal relationship or subtle power plays at work, ignoring these red flags can lead to serious consequences. You'll find yourself in situations where your trust is exploited, your energy is drained, and your goals are delayed. So, what happens when you ignore Machiavelli's principles? You get burned. Whether it's losing money, getting emotionally exploited, or sacrificing your reputation, the price of failing to recognize these traits can be high. It's a trap that most men fall into without ever seeing it coming. But how do you avoid these traps? The solution isn't complex, but it is profound. In the next section, we'll break down exactly how you can spot these traits early and protect yourself from the psychological games that are playing out all around you. Stay tuned. Now that you understand the hidden truths about human nature, how to spot a person's true character through their reactions to adversity and their handling of power, it's time to talk about how to use this knowledge to your advantage. This is where the rubber meets the road. You can't just observe these traits in others. You need to apply them to your own life to gain true power. So how do you start? The first step is to observe how people handle stress and adversity. Watch how they react when things go wrong, when they face pressure, failure, or loss. Do they panic, blame others, and fall apart? Or do they stand tall, take responsibility, and keep moving forward? In moments of crisis, people reveal their true nature. You need to train yourself to recognize these signs, because how someone reacts under pressure will tell you everything you need to know about their character. In your own life, practice responding to adversity with grace and control. The next time you face a challenge, whether it's a tough situation at work, a conflict with a friend, or a personal setback, ask yourself, how can I respond in a way that reveals my strength? The key is not to let emotions dictate your actions. If you want to be a man of power, you need to stay composed, make rational decisions, and never let fear or panic dictate your behavior. Machiavelli believed that the true strength of a ruler or of any man lies in his ability to control himself, not just the world around him. You can't wield power if you're constantly at the mercy of your own emotions. So, begin by strengthening your inner discipline. Cultivate the ability to remain calm in the face of chaos. This inner control is the foundation of power. The second trait to watch is how people interact with those in positions of weakness. How do they treat the waiter, the janitor, or the person who can do nothing for them? Do they treat everyone with respect, or do they show their true colors by exerting dominance over those who can't fight back? The way someone treats those who are beneath them or at their mercy says a lot about their character. Power is not just about what you do when you're in control. It's about how you treat others when you have the upper hand. For your part, start treating everyone with respect, regardless of their status. This will not only elevate your own character, but also earn you the respect of others. The true power of a man isn't measured by how he dominates others. It's measured by his ability to inspire loyalty and command respect through fairness, strength, and integrity. Finally, self-awareness is key. The more you know yourself, the more power you have. Recognize your own weaknesses, your tendencies under stress, and your emotional triggers. The more control you have over your own mind and actions, the less likely you are to be manipulated by others. This is how you build true power, not by controlling others, but by controlling yourself. The challenge, then, is simple but profound. If you can start to see the world through the lens of power and character, you will never be deceived again. By paying attention to how people respond to adversity and how they wield power, you'll gain a deeper understanding of who they really are. And by mastering your own responses, you'll start to rise above the games and distractions, becoming the man who commands respect, trust, and influence. Now, it's up to you. Will you take control of your life and start seeing the world through this lens? Or will you continue to be swept up by appearances and empty gestures? The choice is yours, and the power is in your hands. So, what have we learned today? The two key traits that reveal a person's true character: how they respond to adversity and how they wield power. These are the moments when people stop pretending, when their true nature surfaces. It's in the heat of pressure, when fear and stress take hold, that you'll see who someone truly is. And it's in their ability to manipulate, control, or even treat those beneath them that you'll see their true intentions. This knowledge is not just a tool for understanding others. It's a blueprint for your own success. Whether you're navigating relationships, business deals, or even your own personal growth, understanding these traits gives you the edge. You'll be able to avoid the traps most men fall into: being seduced by charm, mistaking kindness for integrity, or letting yourself be manipulated by someone with power over you. But here's the thing. Most men will never see the world this way. Most will continue to judge people by their words, their appearance, or their superficial behaviors. You, however, now have the ability to see through the mask. So, what will you do with this knowledge? It's time to start observing the people around you more closely. Notice how they handle pressure and how they treat others when they think no one's watching. Practice applying these principles in your own life and avoid the traps that most people fall into. You have the power to control your destiny. Now it's up to you to take action.